All right. So we'll start. Good afternoon. There we go. So good morning for some, I guess. So I'm Mark Lowry, I'm the CRO at Logic. I've been working with associations for about 15 years. I started off doing websites, content management systems, information architecture, moved into AMS systems before we started Logic about 9 years ago. A little bit about us. We run about 250,000 communities for associations and nonprofits. We do work in the commercial market as well, but our focus has always been, we all came from the association market, has always been on associations and helping them grow. We've been consistently ranked in Inc. 500's fastest growing companies. A couple new announcements, some big ones, as some people may know in the room that happened today, but we also, it got added before I had to turn in the slides, but IDC is a company like Gartner or Forrester. I'm very, very excited to say in the last week we were rated as a leader, meaning the top of their magic type quadrant. This is with people like Adobe, SAP, Salesforce communities, Jive, Lithium, so all the big people within our industry, and we're rated at the top. The greatest part for everybody in the room is we actually work and focus on the association market. So that's one announcement. The other one was very big, and I'm supposed to say an announcement about it, but today we got $55 million in funding, growth equity funding, so it's very exciting. So a huge day for the Orange Army. This is all growth equity. It is not an acquisition. It is all to continue to grow. There's no change in control. So I had to point that out as well. We have a 98% retention rate on our clients. That, to me, all that means is we build successful clients. Every organization I've worked with, I've helped grow. I want to grow everything we're talking about today with, let's target the market. Let's do these things. It doesn't matter if it doesn't help your organization grow. There's new generations of people coming in. Everything's been free. How do we make them grow? How do we make them more successful? And we've been very successful in helping you do that. We integrate with about 60 different AMS systems, so I can pretty much guarantee any one of yours I've had to negotiate a contract with to get an integration done with. Some we have 150 clients with, some it's just a handful of clients, but that is out of the box as well. So single sign-on, the integration with the AMS or CRM systems as well. We did a project that I'm very proud of with the International Association of, Paul, I complain. Thank you. International Association of and I make everybody make sure they know that one. International Association of Accessibility Professionals to help our software and what we do with community and engagement be available to the visually impaired. This is a big deal. All of you that are nonprofits, at one level or another, are required to do this. Nobody's really pushing you to do it, but are required to do this. So we worked with them and did a project for that. And we walk you through best practices implementation. So for those of you who don't know Logic, our main core business that we do is online communities, allowing like-minded individuals to interact and engage better. That's our core features. We do a ton of other stuff, not going to go through these. One of the main things that we added about a year ago is a volunteer system. The idea, as I go through the presentation, is to get more out of, you're not going to get more staff. Let's just face it, you're not going to get more staff. That's not going to happen at associations. So how do we get more out of our volunteers? There's a big cognitive surplus of people that want to give to your organization, want to give their time and have that time. But the major problem we saw when we interviewed a ton of organizations is we don't have enough opportunities to do it. We have opportunities for the board, committees. What about all the micro volunteer type stuff we could do for them? So we built a platform that would allow you to harness that, get the right volunteer opportunity in front of the right member at the right time type of thing. Okay? And then tons of other random things that we do within there as well. A key thing up here, Sig pointed it out a lot from Nimble AMS, and we've been working with them for a long time as well. We actually take all the activities because what you actually measure in your database, let's keep track of it. They renew once a year. That's one activity, engagement activity. It's engagement, they got to pay you. They maybe register for an event once a year. They did some CLEs or CEUs or any type of like that. But what are they really doing besides we're blasting out to them? All the time we're blasting out to them. We track that. We track that. We track that. With Logic, what we're doing is similar to like a Facebook or LinkedIn or government. Or they know a ton about all of us in the room because they're really paying attention. Amazon, whoever it is. There's been a ton of examples today. They're paying attention to what you're doing and the trends of what you're doing. Within Higher Logic, we measure all that throughout a daily basis because your members within our software are acting all day, every day. They're really doing a lot of stuff within there. Now, what we can do is, like for an example of SIG's group, or in Pexim's in the room as well, we can write that information back to there. So then when you're pushing that, when you're actually trying to target an audience, you have a much higher success rate on that call to action you're trying to do through the email marketing people in the room as well. You're much higher success rate on that call to action because you've really targeted the market. And now I'm talking about really micro-targeting them and being able to get that exact portion of your membership, and it may only be 5 people, that message right then, versus what do? We're trying to pull this data out of our AMS, we're struggling, and what do we end up doing? We give up and we send everybody the same message, and they, after time, unsubscribe, or they just don't pay attention. They delete it, they just delete it, and don't act on it. We want to get them to act. So that's a newer product that we did as well. So we're going to talk about a case study. So we've been working with ASAE. Who's a member of ASAE? All right, and who's a member, obviously OrgSource, you're all a member of that, and who's a member of the Chicagoland Forum as well. So we run communities for all of those. So if you get those daily morning emails where your peers are talking, that's Higher Logic, major part of Higher Logic software. So Reggie, love him. If anybody's ever met him, he's just a great person. He's really excited all the time and just a wonderful person to work with. Reggie's been a client for a while, and he said he made a great tweet. I couldn't ask for better marketing material. Best thing he's done in the last 15 years was launch Collaborate, which is their Higher Logic platform, what they name it. The reason being is there's a lot of stats. They've done a lot of studies on it to show what it did for the organization. So one of the studies we did was, how do we affect first-year renewals? Because why is that important? If we can affect that first-year renewal, so MGI does a lot of studies in the industry. They say that first-year renewals are, on average, across the organizations, are 72%. Some of you are going to be way better than that. Some of you may be worse than that. On average, it's 72%. Second year is like 80%. Third year gets up to 90%. Then you have them, as you know. You keep them. They're likely to renew. Great. So how do I affect that first year? How do I get them to actually renew? So what we did with ASA and a bunch of other ones, we're doing these studies where if we can get them to change that by 72% to 80, 82%, which we're doing. So we did a study, even number of members, odd number of members just within the database. You do it your way, your traditional way, ASAE. We're going to do it our way. And plus, we're going to automate the process. You know, we're going to talk about how do we take away the staff time and the effort that they're not going to actually be able to do anyways because they're not going to be able to target it enough to do this. So how do we take away that, automate the member onboarding that first year so we can get that up there? Now think of that 8 to 10% difference. That's just not their $200 dues. That's the continuing education they did or whatever else. So let's take that first year, but it's not just that first year. Let's multiply it by the lifetime value of the member, which is average of about 25 years. I can go into a small organization, never show software, and go on the board and talk about, here's a math equation that shows it can bring you millions of dollars. It's a very good thing. It's tested out with ASA and a lot of other groups that we're doing this study with. So let's talk about some of the results. So to hit you over the head 80 more times with this, because it's been said by everybody in the room today, it's basically get the right message in front of the right member at the right time. That's the target. How do those overlap? What are you trying to do? Does that message, that email campaign that you're getting ready to send out, should that only go out to one member? Maybe. That may be the case. It maybe only should go out to one member. So we look at a life cycle curve, and what I would challenge everybody in the room to do is think about how do you break up what you allow them to do with your organization into smaller, finite type task or ask that you're doing for them. I'm not going to ask you to serve on my board as an entry-level person that just got out of college right away. I'm not going to ask you to donate $1 million. I'm going to ask you to hand out water bottles. I'm going to ask you to sit at the register desk. I'm going to ask you to join a committee. So how do we get those and then naturally take it out of the staff's hand, but naturally just kick them up that curve, and that we call it the member commitment curve. Now how to do that is HubSpot is a big company that went public a couple years ago that does marketing automation. So it's the email marketing out, but more targeted. They do a lot of studies on it. This had 93,000 calls to action. They're looking at a 12-month period. Personalized conversion rates are 42% better. So Tom, David, you guys are experts in this. Like the average for an association was at 1-2% we call it a response rate on it. So if you target it, you're going to get a much higher reaction rate on it. So very big thing. So what we did with ASAE is we went through a new, and there's tons of these campaigns that are in there, but it's a new member welcome campaign. And you go through, and what do you do day one, day two, all this stuff went there. But it targets it, because Johnny may join this day, Sally may join on the same day. Their career path and what they do with the organization is nowhere near the same. They're going to go down different paths. I may be a little slower. I may not get there as fast. I may go over here, distract myself for a little bit with something I'm interested in you guys are doing, and then go over here. But the idea is to just let them drop into different buckets, have these messages that you're going to send out to them, or rewards. It could be the rewards. It could be a pat on the back. It could be digital badging, gaming, whatever it is. Some kind of action that you're taking to give them to do the next step. But it's little ask versus huge ask of serve on my committee and commit yourself to 10 meetings a year that you got to go to. No, let's do little ask and get them up to that. So conversion rates on some of the different ones of these that we were doing for ASAE, and these are from their report last year. So you're seeing high conversion rates versus that 1-2% type of thing, because it is very targeted. So that's the main ask you should do. Now these can go out through our system in case of ASAE, but they can go out through the email marketing systems that you have, whether it's High Road or Magnet Mail, or whether it's in Forms, some of the different ones that you have out there, or HubSpot for that matter. So this is the end results of what they really liked that they had with this is ASAE found out through these studies, and they did it through third party, MGI again, they found out that members that were on the Collaborate platform, on the community platform, were 30% more likely to recommend membership to a peer. That's pretty cool. They also, who's familiar with NPS scoring? Okay, so some people, so NPS scoring is Net Promoter Score. So basically it's a simple survey. It's how likely are you to recommend our organization to a peer? You guys should all be doing it. We do it with our clients. It allows us to target who should we be helping more and who needs more help, who's not happy, all that stuff too. But it's a really simple thing, and it gives a score. You can have negative scores, but up to 100, so 60 would be a great score and stuff like that. So they had NPS scoring, and they did a couple tests on logins. And with the logins, what would you, if you logged in more times you logged in, how much happier they are, essentially is what that's saying. Now, the best part is the money spent. This is why Reggie, again, said the best thing he's done in the last 15 years was launch Collaborate. The money that they spent, less than $600 if they weren't on Collaborate. If they were on Collaborate, and then I'm not even capping. I don't know what the $3,000 goes up to, but 56% they're on Collaborate are spending more than $3,000 with the organization. So very big results from a great organization that I think we all look up to, and and they're always testing new stuff out as well. So those are results, and this was done across not just ASAE, about 10 other organizations as well with similar type ones. ASAE is the one that everybody recognizes as well. So that's all I have. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for letting me be here.